Now, I was asked a question about, do you want me to send you deals, right? So a deal that, yes, I want you to send me all the deals. How do I evaluate the deals in like less than a minute? I evaluate the deals because a lot of the deals that you see on these text messages, somebody else controls the deal. I've been trying my very best myself to look at a deal that's on people's deal list and say, okay, I can probably make something work, but you don't have control over the deal. And so we'll do a live scenario. How much is the property? So you have a property at 289, 289,000. All right. So over here, I always put a mortgage calculator. Another thing is I look at what actually sold. Okay. Now, what's the construction of the property? Okay, so let's pull it up on Zillow or Brevard Property Appraisers. CS, CBS, okay, so CBS, what year? 1961. So anything in the 1950s and closer to the 1960s has cast iron piping. Okay, so this one has newer roof, newer AC. So that could mean a bunch of different things. That could mean that it's 5 years old, which that means the AC is about to be shot anyway. The newer roof, it may be 7 years old, whatever, okay? What actually sold and how much, right? So you have to look at, if I bought 2020, okay. That's, okay, we're getting there. It is 1 year from being shot to hell. So we're gonna go through it again. All right. So at the end of the day, the average AC 3 to 5 years, right? And that's if you maintain and try your very best. You could live till 6. All right. Sometimes you can live it a little longer. Who the hell knows? But guaranteed, it's about to be shot to hell. What actually sold, right? And then on top of that, market value. And this is not to be confused with Zillow. Okay? Look at Zillow as well. But the market value I like to immediately look at is the property appraiser. So that means that you're looking at the property appraiser and you're saying, okay, the market value is 183. If you look at property appraiser, what does it say? And we're just waiting for her to get it together there. All right, 289. What was the last one they said? They said it's worth ARV after repair value. They said was 440, which again, just to get it closed, we're already at 300,000. So is this place having little work or a lot of work, right? Does it need light rehab or heavy? Okay, so a little higher. So let's do the math. 306. Okay, that's actually pretty good. That's a strong number. Okay, because they're still getting it lower than the market value. They're still as 306. That means a property appraiser, real taxable value. That's what it's called, taxable. Okay. There's lenders that will just lend on a taxable value. So they might say, all right, I'll lend 70% of the taxable value, right? Then you have to calculate that and make sure that that purchase price is embedded in that. Okay, so we're back here at the 289. I don't like 289. Okay, Why? Because I'm an investor and I like things a lot cheaper. Okay, I've got a beachside property for $268. So in my mind, I'm still thinking that I had to spend 130,000 real dollars to rehab. The same property I got for about 300,000, right? So if it is let's say 289, average rehab nowadays is anywhere from 45. Well, I'm being low, but it's usually 45 to $80,000. Okay, I've done videos, plenty of videos with this, right? So it could range from any of that. That's not including closing costs. Okay. Then holding costs. So how cheap is that money? Can you pull out your mortgage calculator real quick for me? Holding costs. Yep, at 289 at 10%. Yeah. That's the average, and that's low. 10% is low, people. All right, because the average right now is 12.99. $2,500 a month. $2,500 a month. Times, and the average time that it takes to do a rehab. Yes, you've heard me do a rehab in 1 week. You heard me do a rehab in 3 months. You heard me do a rehab in 1 month. However, I don't base my numbers on that shit because you will get screwed, okay? Punched in the face, lose people's money. All right, so I do this. Holding costs $2,500 because of this 289 loan here, right? Not including the money it costs to rehab. We are averaging this in our brains, right? But the holding costs, closing costs, right? 2,500 times 6. Do the math for me, dear. $15,000. Okay? $15,000 to 289, right? And the closing costs and the rehab costs. Where is the money coming from? You're not going to make any profit. You're dead. Okay? So we're going to do the math just for the math's sake. Let's say 289. We know it's going to take about 6 months to do it. So 15,000. That's a holding cost. Okay, we put holding costs. Yeah, we're going to add them. We're going to add that in. Okay. Rehab costs. And I'm just going to give a ballpark number, 50,000. I just told you the rehab is anywhere from 45 to 80. People have spent a lot more because they do a lot more, and they run into things that you never can see coming. Okay, so that means that if you hired a contractor, you gave him $10,000, and he walked off with the money, you got to subtract that from this. Okay, or you open up a wall, and you found that there is cast iron pipes on top of what the 50,000. Now you have to add anywhere from 10 to 20. All right, but let's just keep this number the way it is right here. All right, so we have 50,000 in rehab, and this is, you know, holding costs. We got 0 here, 0 here, 0 here. All right, got 9, 4, 14. We got 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, plus 5 is 15, do it up there, 3, 54, okay? Now, we have not even begun to sell it, right? You need a realtor, right? And they're like 3%, 6%. So 3% of 354. What's that number, dear? So 354. That's all good. Okay. So we're adding the 10,000 to that, right? Drop it here. 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. We got 4. We got 5, 6. It might be a deal. It might be a deal. I haven't seen the property, but it might be a deal. Okay? But these are the numbers you need to be factoring in your head immediately. Right? $2,500. I don't even like to see big numbers like this because I know that they're going to roll that into a cost every month. And I don't have that type of patience to run through this and not be paying at least a month or two of holding costs. Right? I don't like big numbers when I'm doing a rehab. Okay? However, say for instance, it doesn't sell. Hello? What if it doesn't sell in a month? Just to do the rehab, we're at 364. It doesn't sell in a month, right? There's more holding costs. So 30 days, the average, let's say the average days on market right now. I think it's like anywhere from 30 to 90 days. But you tell me, because and that's D for days, okay, people? 61 days. So we have to add 2,500, so that's 5,000, right? So we at 36.9. Now, again, this might be a good deal. But these are the things that you need to understand and think about while you're doing this type of business, okay? I like to control the deal, so I could probably get this number a little cheaper. We're going to take a look at that property, make sure it's a deal, and you're going to watch a video on what we do. So again, know these numbers. Always know exactly how much rehab. Is it light or is it heavy? How many days? Get the mortgage calculator. You're going to have the holding costs. Make sure you have a crystal clear on the ARV. I always go deeper into the ARV because people say and they balloon the ARV, right? Because they want to sell a deal, of course. But it doesn't work in my model, okay? So you want to know, is it really 440? Or is it really like 380? Well, if it's 380, right? How much money are you really going to make for all that effort and all that work and all that headache, right? So not a lot, right? Because you have dished out a lot and you're going to scrape by because they said the average days on market is 60, but a lot of people are 90 days, 148 days. Tell me. Well, you can always, yeah. Say if you have a buyer, you can make a few $1,000s on a deal like this, right? You would have to know somebody that's in that market or know a buyer that doesn't subscribe to the same list that you're subscribed to, and that's how you do it. And a lot of old school folks are not subscribed to the list, right? So that means that they might have the cash or maybe want to sit on a property, or they might factor all of this in and be like, okay, I could do that for 10% on my money. Right? So they're 10%, they might make, you know, $30,000 or 15 or whatever they want, right? So each investor is different, and that's a great question. Any other questions?
So what stage?
I would look at it. I would look at it, but again, I would love to see the condition and do a walkthrough and understand really and dive more deep into this ARV that they were ballooning.
houses next doors. The closest I found, this is obviously not the closest thing, everything looks not updated. The closest one was 2023 sale.
Yeah.
Similar square footage, but not updated.
Right. And this is 2020 was a decent high market, right? And we saw the prices higher then when we were able to sell. So that's why I said I don't really think that this 440 at all. Mm. We could take a look at it and see. But again, folks, right? Dive deep into this ARV. Like Nicole was just sharing with us that the last sold is 2020? 2023, last year. What time? Okay. So 2023 last year is not going to equate to this year. So it might have went up, it might have dropped. In a lot of places it has dropped a little, or it went up. Okay? And that was a great buying time. Okay? That's when everybody is coming out, they're spring breaking, they're seeing the world, they're getting ready for their families and blah, blah, blah. Again, you really want to dive into this ARV, get that mortgage calculator, which we'll send to you, and know your numbers. Holding costs. How much is the holding cost? That's how much money you're going to pay on that money. Rehab budget, right? Make sure that's crystal clear and locked in, right? All of these are keys that can help you stay away from being damaged in the game. I want you nothing, and I wish nothing but success for you, me as well, and all of my teams, and I look forward to seeing you at the Real Estate Deal Lab community and also the closing.